Hi guys, welcome to Spenelli Speaks. I'm Danny, and today I wanted to do the end of the year book tag. I know I'm probably pretty late to the game as it is almost December here, but I wanted to jump on in and join the group. So, this tag was started by Ariel, and I'll go ahead and link her video down below so you can see that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and use the questions that she put out there for all of us for this particular tag. If you're new here, again, my name's Danny. This is my BookTube channel. I'd love for you to keep on watching and join me on my journey through the books that I'm going to be reading for the rest of the year and for years to come. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as hitting that notification bell so you can see the videos come through as they do. And go ahead and comment. I love to interact with all of you out there. That's the main point of why I joined BookTube, is to join the discussion. So I'd love to hear from you, so go ahead and comment and like the video if you do so choose. So I'm going to jump on into the questions. The first question being, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Yes, there's probably a couple more than I'm remembering, but the one that comes up to the top of my mind, which I'm really sad that I did not finish, is Dan Brown's Origin. I actually got this for Christmas last year and I was super excited. I'm really happy that I had received it, and at the time had a pretty long commute to work every day, so I decided to actually borrow the audiobook from the library, and I listened probably almost a quarter of the book and had to return it, and because it was a brand new book at the time, I wasn't able to renew the audiobook. And instead of just picking up the book and keep going from there, I kind of just started reading other books. So this is one of the books that I was kind of disappointed as we're coming to the end of the year that I haven't finished. I won't probably get back to it this year yet, but I'm definitely going to put it on a TBR for 2020, as I loved the beginning of this and I love Dan Brown. So I've read all of the other books with the Robert Langdon character, so I'm really kind of sad that I didn't finish it, and this one was actually really interesting in the beginning, so I think I probably won't start from where I left off. I'll probably start again from the beginning, so that I can really just jump in and remember all the details, as his books are pretty detailed. So I will probably put this on a TBR for 2020. The next question says, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? You know, I really don't read seasonally. I actually, if you keep watching my videos, I'm going to do this for December. I'm going to read all holiday-esque books in December. So that'll probably be the first year that I ever really do that, where I really read for the season. Typically, I don't go for like fall books or wintry books or summery books. Like, it's more or less what happens to fall in my lap, what's been recommended. From time to time, my book club will have a thriller or a scary book for October, but we don't really plan it that way. It's not in our, thought process to do it as a seasonal book. But what I have done most Novembers, so maybe it's a transitional book, is I typically will read a Mitch Albom book. This book I actually read earlier in the year, so I probably won't read a Mitch Albom book here in November, but like last year I read For One More Day. I read this one this year, and then the previous year I had read another one of his books. It's just, I think because they're so short and they make you feel good, I think I would like to read them around Thanksgiving, because it reminds you to be thankful and it reminds you, how important people in your life are. So I think it's more of my wanting to feel good book. So it's like my transitional book during that holiday. So maybe it's a transitional book, but typically I don't really read seasonally. The next question here is there a new release you're still waiting for? I don't really follow new releases all that much. If you've watched me, you know that the majority of the books I buy are from rummage sales, library sales, and anything else that is, you know, like a thrift store buy. So I don't typically buy a lot of brand new books. So even if a book were to be released, I would probably borrow it from the library first. Earlier in the year, I was waiting for The Times Convert by Deborah Harkness. It's like a sequel to the All Souls trilogy. And I did go and I rented it from the library, and I got maybe like 50 pages in, and my mind just could not stay with it. In no way was the book disinteresting. It was just in my mind, I wasn't quite ready to really hunker down into that particular book. So I'll have to come back to it another time. So as far as the next question goes, it says, what 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So for myself, I have a few books left on my TBR for November, which is The Princess Bride. So I haven't started this. I have about 4 days left this month. I do have some time off after Thanksgiving, so I think I'm probably going to have a full reading day, and perhaps I can get through this. I also have Matt Balassi's Everything is Awful. And, you know, I started reading it, and I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I was really thinking it was going to be really funny, and not that it's not funny, but it's just very negative. And I know that's the whole point. He makes satirical observations of life and his past, but I also feel like it's very whiny. And I'm only about 35 to 40 pages in, and to me, unless it starts to become more positive or more, I don't know, it's very whiny, and that's hard for me. So I might not finish that one, but I do want to finish. I mean, obviously it's on my TBR, so I would like to finish it. I don't like not finishing things, but, and then also Darker Shade of Magic. I haven't really picked this up. I kind of stopped reading it and started reading my other books on my TBR. So those 3 books for sure. And again, I said I have like 4 days left of this month. And then another one that I also really want to finish, or start and finish, is the Jane Austen Cover to Cover. This one I think I definitely will be able to get to on those days that I have off this coming weekend, just because I'll actually have time to really get into it. This past weekend I finished The Hazelwood, which was on my TBR, so watch for that video coming later in a couple of days or at the end of the weekend. Yeah. And you'll be able to see my full review on those books and hopefully see if I was able to finish these books. For the rest of the year in December, I have planned a whole bunch of holiday books. So obviously I want to get through those, and you'll see when I do my TBR video, you know, what books I choose and why I chose them and the significance behind them. It's kind of a unique story, so it'll be interesting. So that's a sneak peek for that. Okay, the next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? You know, I don't think so. Not for what I have to read for the rest of the year. I don't think any of the holiday books are going to shock me. I think they're all going to be quite similar in their reading. I think they're all going to have a similar kind of happy, you know, story. So I don't think those will shock me, and I don't think the books here that I have are going to. I mean, maybe A Darker Shade of Magic will have something interesting in it. But I will say, earlier in this month, I did read a book that did shock me, and that was Alice Feeney's Sometimes I Lie. And again, when I do my wrap-up video this month, you'll hear more on that. But that book, it still is in my mind. Like, I'm still trying to decide if I want to give it a 4 or a 5, because it's still like looping in my mind, and I'm trying to figure out like, what happened? So that book really did shock me, and I was not expecting that at all. Not even when I first read it, not when I got to the middle, and then once it really started to like all happen at the end, it was shocking. So you'll see my full review in my wrap up, but I think that book is probably gonna be the shock of the year. So yeah. And the next question here, it looks like the last question. It says, have you already started making reading plans for 2020? So 2020. I have started. This weekend I actually started to make a few plans for December, and then I was like, hey, why not think about January? And I really do. I think one of my biggest things, and I'm going to do a resolutions video too, but I think it's really important for me especially to start reading more of the books that are actually on my shelf, because I buy a lot of books, and a lot of the books that I buy I have read, and it's more or less I want to own them. But I also buy a lot of books that I haven't read, and sometimes what happens is they'll sit on my shelf for weeks, for months, for years even, and I'll never have picked them up again. And for me, that is a semi-hoarding situation in the smallest sense of the word, because if I bought them, my intention is to read them, and if they're not being read, then I'm kind of being silly. So for my plans for 2020 are really to try to integrate into my TBR, which again is another reason why I joined BookTube, to hold myself accountable, to join this great community and get in these discussions and read more. I think a part of those TBRs are going to be, I need to read books off my shelf. I need to read books off of my want to read list. I need to read books that I keep saying that I'm going to read, and then instead I get distracted and read something else. So I think for 2020, I really want to be more accountable for the books that I already own. So that's definitely part of my plans. And I have plans for videos to kind of explain all of that. I don't know that I really want to do like themes each month. I know a lot of people in the BookTube community will do certain themes for certain months. I've seen that. I don't know that I want to do that for every month. I think I might sprinkle it in. I like the idea of doing the holiday books during Christmas because I think a lot of people enjoy that, and it's particularly for me, which you'll learn later, this particular Christmas, the idea that I have is really important to me, so I really want to do that. I think I definitely will do like my favorite authors and favorite ideas and favorite things during my birthday month. I think that would be a cool theme, but overall in general, I don't think that I will stick to like major themes for each month. I wouldn't be able to in the month of February to do a bunch of chick lit. It's just really not my thing. I mean, I can read one every once in a while, but overall, I think it would be really hard for me to do an entire month of all romantic style books. So that definitely probably won't happen. Yep, that's what I just said. But those are all the questions that we have here. I'm really excited for the end of the year. This will be the last year of me being single, as I'm getting married next year. So 2020 is a big year for me. I'm really excited. I have a lot of planning still left. I have a lot of DIY stuff that I'll be doing that I'll actually integrate into some of the videos, so you'll kind of be able to see what I'm up to, what I'm making. I plan on kind of showing bits and pieces of my wedding as well for you all, as it is a literary themed wedding, so obviously it kind of fits into the theme of my channel. But other than that, This year, I was just really excited to start. I wanted to start before the end of the year, so I started in November. And I wanted to do that because I didn't want to start in January. You know, New Year's resolutions, everybody, you know, thinks they're going to have this aha moment of, you know, starting something new. And a lot of times you don't stick through that. So I wanted to start it in November because why not? I had the thought. Start it, go at it. I've been really trying hard to stay on top of 3 videos a week, and I've been really trying to read all of the books that I selected. It's been a bit of a challenge, obviously working full time, coming home, taking care of kids and the dogs and dinners and this, that, and the other thing. But I've been really doing well, so I've been proud of myself. And I really have enjoyed the interaction that I have had with the people here. So I'm going to stop rambling for you all, but I want to thank you all for joining me here and watching it all to the end. If you enjoyed what you saw, go ahead and hit subscribe and that notification bell and hit like and comment. I'd love to hear from you if you've read the books that you saw today. If you have any end of the year books that you're really looking forward to, I'd love to hear from you. And other than that, thanks for watching. Happy reading, guys. Bye.